Hello everyone, welcome back to Joy's JCfinger. Today I've built a family home that houses 5 Sims and it's completely decked out with pine on the interior. On the exterior it's normal and the entrance to this villa is on the right hand side, so it's an asymmetrical entrance. The doors and the palm trees I was able to get off a property that I had downloaded off the Architect tab, so do keep an eye out for these things. They're quite useful because ordinarily you'd have to buy those doors with real cash from a pack that comes into your game. So on this side I've used the snow chalet windows to completely block out those walls from pillar to pillar, so the inside is exposed. However, I've used these lovely vines to give some privacy. The roof is purple and the exterior comes from the private island quest that we completed not so long ago. It has that sandy white look and I like that it has a different shade on the second floor in some way. Now we've got some pillars, well, or an illusion of pillars if you might put it that way, because we've got a balcony above and then I've used the snow chalet windows to completely isolate those pillars from the actual property in the center here. So it gives the illusion of standing one by one pillars and I quite like that. I created 3 of those pillars to the front part of the house and 2 to the back on this side here that define the pool area. Again, the snow chalet windows go from pillar to pillar, allowing you to see the inside of the house, but those vines create just a little privacy. I really didn't want to use the curtains in the game that come with black frames. It would completely ruin the look of this build, so that was not a choice. I have a blossom tree here that is coordinating nicely with the rooftop and giving the build a bit of color, seeing as the complete interior is covered in pine. The door here again separates that 1 by 1 pillar here for me, and it was quite nice that I was able to situate a door there from the inside of the house to the outside area here for the family to come out and dine. The candle divider here lights up at nighttime in a very little way and I quite like it out here. I think it fits the look for this property, and we also have a wooden barbecue stand, so it completes the wooden look out back here. Although the interior is decked out with pine, so you've got the walls and the floors in pine and even some of the decor, we still have some fresh pops of color, so don't worry about that. Now these doors that I mentioned I got from the Architect tab home that I downloaded are reversed to face each other, so they look like one unit, but you can see that one opens at a time. So the entrance has 2 plants to the left and right of it, and those plants come from the private island event that we completed during the Valentine season. We got this beautiful island and it's quite lovely, and we also got these bifold double doors. They're quite nice and they've given me a separation between the outdoors and the living room, so you've got a hallway space that is separated in some way, and it's double security into this property. So you've got that hallway entrance and then you come into this area where you can sit down, kick off your shoes, drop your keys or your purse on the table and, you know, just have a minute before you get into the property. So it's a nice welcoming entrance, waiting area. And then you've got the main living room in this space here. Now at a glance you can see that I'm using the snow chalet fireplace in this room, and then you automatically think, oh, it's a double height room, but no, it's not, and it's not glitched either, and I'll show you how this is done. It's quite simple. Now after I had completely done the floor plan and laid out the pine option on the floor and the walls, I now wanted to go for a color scheme, and it was green. I started with the wall art there, and then we had the basket that's pink holding up the plant, and then the seats, and then the artwork behind the television. And at this point I realized I couldn't inject any other color into the space. The green became the dominant scheme in the space, and it's quite lovely. Along with the rug, I quite like the idea of how it's pulled together. Now I've got the Scandinavian TV and the Scandinavian round table, which is one of my favorite tables in the game. It's got a shine to it, so it's nicely polished pine, and it's not a special item at all. You can get this in the game. I think you've got to download a particular house called the Scandinavian house, but I've got a bookshelf here. You can grab a book, sit in this corner and enjoy the fireplace in that angle of this living room. so the color pop in this space would be green. Now it could have been an open plan house, but I chose not to do that. I especially felt that this living room was large enough and I didn't want to further extend that. So now we can leave Haley in the living room watching telly, and that's Kylie's mum. And let's have Kylie show us this lovely kitchen. Her grandmother is cooking an amazing meal and is the one who always cooks the meals in the house. The ingredients are obviously coming from that basket on the side there. And I have this lovely area here where Kylie and her half-sister, who's upstairs, would sit down and banter while the grandmother would be cooking. The color pop of choice in this room is pink, obviously, and it's quite nice and warm against the pine. Now it's a dining space, and so it doesn't matter that you can see into it from the outside, and there's a little bit of privacy with the greenery too. This is Kylie's stepdad, who's enjoying a lovely meal. He's the father to Angela, her stepsister. And this is a restroom tucked away back here for the family or for guests, but it's also a laundry room. So the sinks are, backing each other for plumbing purposes. I thought that was cool. And I thought it was nice to have this laundry space in the corner here, simply because the space was empty, and I thought, well, if I'm just going to place a sink in the area and then tuck the toilet unit further back here away from the dining area, it just made the room so empty. So the laundry unit worked out brilliantly in this space, and I quite love it. And again, it's important to have a good distance between the toilet unit and the space where you eat. So 2 doors is an adequate enough space or distance between the two, and I think it's quite nice. So this is the overview of the space downstairs. You've got her mum watching telly in the lovely living room, and the grandmother is actually her grandmother, and I'm speaking of Kylie, who's taking us on the tour. So this is the door that leads us out to the back side of the house, where you can dine out, put something on the grill and enjoy a good time out here in the summer, and that's the way back in, obviously. So this is basically the general overview of this house. I really quite like the idea, and keeping it one color, which is the pine, allowed for me to use the splashes of color here and there, and it's quite nice. So it's a family of 5. Her mum sitting down watching telly, that's her exact biological mother, that's her biological grandmother, and then this is her stepdad sitting down eating, and Angela, her half-sister's upstairs. So Angela's father is the one who's actually sitting down eating, and we're going to see Angela upstairs. Have I completely confused you? I hope I have. So this is the hallway. When you come up here, it's quite lovely and elegant and calm. And then we come through to a study space here, which is nice and tucked away. And the colors as well are, wooden, and just a little pop of color in the middle of that couch. And I thought that was adequate in the space. So I'm going to get Kylie to sit down and do some work, while we can then move over to their bedroom and you get to meet Angela. So these 2 girls are 19 years old. They're not your kid type of teen. They're big girls, and the room looks edgy and classy. So obviously you can see that the top part of the fireplace is sticking out in this bedroom and has set the tone for the colors that I've chosen to set this room up. You've got the hard blacks, the hot pinks, and I'm just basically going to show you how it's placed. And it's literally by just placing it. When we had the 2017 Christmas update, you couldn't do this. You had to place this fireplace in a double height room. Now this is where I kept the lights, and this is what lights up the room. So I've just taken them off so you can see it's a clear space. Then you go ahead into your inventory and pick out the chalet fireplace and just put it down. So there's no glitching involved. This is something that the game allows, and I didn't have to manipulate it in any way. I'm just going to put the lights back in. It's a small space, so I'm having to make use of things in a smart way. And I'm quite happy that I can place this fireplace in this house, because it's a really nice fireplace. Now, I don't know if Sims FreePlay intended for this to be the case, so maybe by the next update this wouldn't work all of a sudden, so I can't guarantee what Sims FreePlay's intention is regarding this fireplace. But that's the room that Angela and Kylie share, and this is the family bathroom. It's a nice sizable family bathroom to the front of the house, and the flooring is also pine but a brighter color, Just because it's the bathroom, I thought I'd break the color up just a little bit. The next bedroom to look at is the grandparents' bedroom. Florence, who's downstairs, she is the step-grandparent to Angela here. And this bedroom consists of Scandinavian furniture, the Scandinavian bed, the side tables and the dresser drawers. They're a perfect fit for this pine house. And there's a nice detail in the bed. You know, it's quite patterned. Now the master bedroom, of course, is the largest room in the house, and we've got this long array of windows with some privacy. You can imagine I couldn't have used the black windows with the curtains. It wouldn't fit the style of the property. So I've got these vines on either side of the property, to the front and to the back, to make sure that this master unit has some privacy. And we have an ensuite, of course, for this large, beautiful master bedroom. Again, the floor is a brighter pine shade, and I think that the bathrooms in this house are quite sizable, considering the fact that it's built on a small plot and there are 3 bedrooms. There is a nice vanity unit here with lovely ornaments to the left and right of it, and this is basically the overview of the upstairs part of this house. These doors are really beautiful, and I love that it's got the white frame, otherwise it would have looked invisible. Although Kylie and Angela share the one bedroom, they're not always here 100% of the time. Angela sometimes has to go off and stay with her mum, and Kylie sometimes has to go off and stay with her dad. So this is a nice blended family. Let me just turn this on. This is a nice blended family, and they live here together and they make it work and they're happy, and I hope you like the build. And as usual, I'm trying to build interesting and detailed homes on small plots because we have a limited number of large plots in the game. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!